Hey everybody, John Younger, Assisted Living Locators, here today, 5 minutes with Ellie Anbinder of Caregivers Well-Being. Hey Ellie, how's it going?
Hi, John. Good morning. Everything's just lovely today.
Wonderful,
Sun is
wonderful.
out.
It's a beautiful sunny day. We love that. Hey Ellie, tell us
Mm,
about Caregivers Well-Being.
I will. Thank you, John, for the opportunity. Every morning we get up and we greet the new day. Hopefully, we're often planning for great things to happen, planning for our future. We're moving along in our lives, our marriages, our relationships with our families, and of course, every day we have to admit we're getting a little older. None of us knows what lies ahead of us or even how we will handle life's challenges, but we forge ahead with enthusiasm. And then one day, our children start to notice that their dad is forgetting things. And you realize that they are right and that things are looking a bit different. The everyday conversations, the daily activities, what someone used to be able to do, they're not doing any longer, the daily routines, forgetting names, forgetting driving directions. So we go to the doctor and we ask the questions and we get a diagnosis, and life takes a complete turn in a new direction where there are no rules, no instructions, no guidebook, and you are suddenly a caregiver for an illness you know nothing about. This is my story. As the mother of two adult daughters who were most devoted to their father, the discussion began this way. Mom, we think Dad is forgetting things a lot. They discussed this with me for quite a while before I paid any attention. I frankly thought he was just ignoring me. Long-term marriage. However, however, forgetfulness grew over a period of time, as did the daughter's discussion. And slowly came the tests, the diagnosis, first mild cognitive impairment, and then the big Alzheimer's diagnosis. One drug, and the realization on my part what was really happening. And then the slow and dreaded decline. It happened over 8 years. And I will say candidly that I was not prepared for this new job as the primary caregiver. Although I had help and I had insurance, I must say the role of caregiver was the most difficult job I never applied for. It was unpredictable, isolating, profoundly sad. Not only had I lost my husband cognitively, but I was responsible for his very existence. We had a marriage that involved two very independent and career driven people, used to coming together and discussing and planning, and of course, trips, the future, watching our grandchildren grow old. It seemed that suddenly I was not only on my own, but I had lost my partner, and of course, there was a very high learning curve and the day by day changes in behavior. Just when I thought I had figured it all out, changed. And unfortunately, there was no clear answer to many of the problems because Alzheimer's is a progressive and fatal disease. So, how did I cope with the continually changing needs? I say to all of you, step by step by step, with the goal of responding and understanding what was happening. And sometimes I got it right, and sometimes I didn't. It was a most difficult journey. I gradually learned that these experiences that caregivers have generally are not well taken care of. And then I heard this statistic: 40% of caregivers of dementia patients pass away before the patient they are caring for because of the stress from this job. And I knew that I had to help the caregivers. Caregivers Well-Being is a consulting practice which helps caregivers by listening, by organizing, by sourcing, and by speaking. Each of the 3 pillars of care for the caregiver are about the whole illness, Alzheimer's, dementia, memory impaired illnesses, the whole person, and the whole family. And we consult with whatever of those pillars you need. It could be one-on-one consulting, small groups of like-minded caregivers meeting to discuss their problems, public speeches, resources, and organization in the home and other tasks as the illness progresses, and even discussing after-death tasks, and tax.
It's that time of year, yeah.
Yeah. I work virtually and I can be contacted anywhere in the country. As soon as COVID is over, I will be available for face-to-face meetings in the greater Boston area. I'm most anxious to help caregivers through this most difficult and unrelenting job. Caregivers Well-Being is to help you when you need the help. The truth is, we often need help just to get through the day or the night or the weekend. And who is there actually to understand the stress unless they've had the lived experiences I have experienced? What have I figured out? Well, I documented the journey and I'm ready to help you, the caregivers, get through this disease with your loved one. Caregivers Well-Being will help you to navigate the role of caregiving as you deal with a loved one suffering from a memory-impaired illness. I'd like to be part of the help for caregivers. Ellie Anbinder, Caregivers Well-Being.
Ellie, how wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your personal story.
My pleasure, John. Thank you for the opportunity.
Just an amazing thing you're doing. I totally believe in what you're doing. I think it's very important
Thank you.
for caregivers to understand there is help out there. There is good guided help. And I especially liked when you talked about there are no rules and there's no instruction manual for when you're a caregiver.
I am going to write an instruction manual, but
Perfect.
That's down the road a little bit.
That's great. That's great. Ellie, what would be the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me on my email, which is Eleanor FA15@gmail. Caregivers Well-Being email will be coming along in a day or a week or so. And my phone number is 508-380-2042.
Awesome. Ellie, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching 5 Minutes with Ellie Anbinder of Caregivers Well-Being. Have a great rest of your day.